Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Wasting My Money on Motorcycles, where you can watch me waste my money on motorcycles. Case in point. So what is today? Today is the XL600 transmission fixing and reassembly of the engine, and I think that's it. It's all engine work. I'm really hoping to start the Z1R this weekend. I'm staring at it. It's in a cover. And I really need to get the Z1R off of that stand. Because I have another bike that needs to go on there. I'm just looking under these dirt bikes. Oil. More oil. They all leak from the clutch cover. And eventually I'll be doing some things with these dirt bikes. What else? Yeah, well, that's it. XL600 Part 2. Thanks for watching. Let's see, okay. So, I don't see any chunks yet. So, I think, let's see, second gear was right on the end, but which end was it? Maybe it's down there. That one looks okay. Anybody see it yet? I don't see anything missing yet. That one looks okay. I'm looking at the bottom one. Alright, well, we'll have to wait until I take it apart. Alright, so before I remove these the shift forks, this little dot's kind of pointing uppish, almost directly up. I'm not sure what gear it was in. I think it was in neutral. Okay, so that one's there. That is the right side most one. Here is the center one. And this is the left one. Okay. And then here's the shift drum. Alright. Don't see the damage yet. You would think it would just jump right out at me. Well, so it's been about 2.5 hours. I think I found what I believe was causing the issue, and that is, you can see here, this is the shift fork that shifts between second and, God, I figured this out like 5,000 times, so that's just like 11 is second, and 7 is third. So you can see here where it's like, see that mark right there? Yeah. So the gear has been wearing on that, and this part here, the ear part, is kind of eaten away a little bit. And then if you look at this is so this locks onto the counter shaft, which is the sprocket shaft, and this locks second gear onto it. So this is second gear. This is the one that was in it, and you can see here it's normal to have some scraping here because these engage like this, like these teeth go like that. But you can see on this one that every edge is rounded over pretty bad, and each edge here, see how on this edge is nice and crisp, the edge of this oval right here. But if you look at this side, the edge that is engaged when it's going forward like this, it's rounded. So I think that roundedness was making second gear, instead of engage and go like that, it was skipping over the top. I mean, you would think that if it got in there, it would be okay, but it was slipping over it. So, I mean, I took it apart and put it back together 400 times, the shafts, and, shifted through it, and then I put the case half together, just to double check it's not going back together like this yet. I need to take it back apart. I need to change the gear shaft seal and the counter shaft seal while I have all this stuff apart. Maybe do some wire wheeling on the case. But that's not what I want to show. So what I want to show you is, okay, so that's neutral. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little detent here. Maybe I could use the flashlight. So if you look here, it's in neutral. So if I shift it down, that's first gear. And then if I upshift, right, go back to neutral, and then second gear, then third, fourth, and then fifth, and it has to, basically, it needs to move to a position where see, like if these ears are not lined up, it doesn't go in. So it has to get lined up and then drop in. So there it dropped in. So that's fifth. So fifth, fourth, and then this one will need to drop in. Okay. Second, first. Neutral. Okay. All right. So I think that hopefully will repair it, and hopefully I'll get it together properly. So now the cleaning begins. It's 4:45. So I'll do that tomorrow. I think I'll just leave it as is. So there's the old one, and there's the top end, and there's the side cover stuff. So, but yeah, that's good enough now. Alright, so I ended up taking a close look at first gear also, and the first gear dogs right there. Two of them are okay, and one of them has some damage on it, starting to go. So I swapped this is the gear, and then this is the thing that locks it into the shaft. So I replaced those also, swapped them. So now I got to clean it up and put it back together. So I got to get this gasket surface nice and clean. Try some Scotch-Brite on that. But what I'm going to do is replace this the counter shaft seal. That's this big one, the one that I didn't replace on the other one because it didn't need it. Let's see if this will come right out. How much you want to bet it will not? Let's use a big hammer. That way I can do more damage. That loud noise is the landscaper. Oh, it is coming out. I think. A little bit. I better make sure that I'm get the smallest one I need. There we go. Goodbye, and what I also need to get at is this seal, which is the chip shaft. There we go. There you go. That one. Alright, so I got a bunch of cleanup to do here. So I'll come back when I'm ready to put the cases together. Getting this gasket off sucks. It's just completely stuck. I'll get like a little tiny bit that'll come off, and it just putting all kinds of little marks case, but I'll use some sealant, I think. It's gonna take forever. I don't know how interesting this is going to be, but I wanted to kind of try and show how the transmission works. So here's the shift. Here's where the shift lever attaches, right? And that is going to go clicking down or clicking up. That turns this thing here, which is going to move this arm against the shift drum, and that's going to turn it to the left or to the right when you click it. And you'll see here all these grooves in the shift drum. So that's where the shift forks come in. See the 3 shift forks here? And they all follow a groove. And depending on what gear, the shift fork will move up or down to slide these intermediary gears back and forth. So for instance, this is first gear up here. And you see these little dogs here that stick out. Those engage with these holes in first gear and lock first gear onto this shaft. This is the output shaft. This is the input shaft where the clutch goes on. So the clutch goes on here and drives, the inner part of the clutch drives this spline, which drives this shaft. And this is the crank, and this gear on the crank, maybe it's not this gear, but one of the gears that goes over the crank here, junk in there, turns the other part of the clutch. So that, you got the clutch basket, yeah, and there's an outside part of it and an inside part of it. And so the outside part of it gets driven by the crank. The inside part of it drives this, and when the clutch is engaged, these two get locked together, right? So I'm kind of battling. So there's 3 shift forks, and there's 3 of those sliding gears that go up and down, and they either latch into one gear, they go in the center and do nothing, or they latch into the other gear. And so this is one in whatever it is. I don't know. I don't have it memorized. I had it memorized a couple days ago. But anyway, so let's see if I can kind of just shift it through the gears. And it's going to be kind of painful because it's sitting upside down. And normally the other part of the case would be securing all these things in place. So I have it in or around. Yeah, I think let me take this out of here because I was going to show it. I was going to try to shift it, but it just doesn't work unless it's sitting properly up. But if you look in there, there's a little brass thing, yeah? And so that's the neutral indicator. So when the shift drum is there, there's this little tab that's pushing down on that switch. And that's the switch for the neutral light. So right there is neutral. So I should be able to turn the center shaft the clutch shaft, and I'm holding with my other hand this shaft. Yeah, I'll put this little oil hole so you can see that it's not moving. I don't know if you can see it. All right, so that's neutral. Now, if I shift down, that would click the drum, the shift drum to go this way, and that would put it in first. But these dogs have to be lined up. So if I go like that, then that's first gear. So this one came up, the other two stayed, and the other 2 forks stayed in the same position. Now that's first gear. So now it has to turn. See how this is turning around? So then I go back to neutral. And then second is the one that was bad. So that has to drop into, that's that one on the bottom, that has to drop down. Did you see it move there? Right there, see? That bottom one is going up and down. So that's the fork. I replaced the fork. I replaced these 2 gears with the ones from the other case. So there's second gear. Second. Very easy to lose your place. So that's second. And then third, you can see second pops back up and disengages. And then this one dropped down. So if you watch this one, when I go from second to third, right, second comes up and then third drops down. So then third gear is engaged. And then fourth is kind of a pain in the ass. You got to pull this up, but I think you get the point. This is how it all works. This is why almost all of these transmissions for the motorcycles, right? You got a shift. You got your shift lever, goes to the shift shaft. The shift shaft turns the shifter drum, this guy, and then the drum is moving the shift forks, and you've got these gears here that slide up and down. With the forks, move them up and down, and that engages them to one gear or another. And they also have a gear on them themselves, which creates one or the other intermediate gears. So yeah. Okay, well, it says put back together. The transmission is as put back together as it's going to get. I checked it 5 times. I think it's good to go. I'm using sealer and a gasket. The gasket doesn't seem to fit incredibly well. I had to trim it a bunch, and I line these holes up. Alright, so torquing these crankcase bolts, 125 inch-pounds. Good. So if you could direct your attention here. So this is what they want you to do after you've stuck it together. And see, this is a, I don't know if they call this a shift paw. I know that if you try to run it through the gears without this thing on, it doesn't work very well. So this seems to pull up. This is attached to the end of the shift drum, which sticks out of the case a little bit. And then this is a spring-loaded thing. And I think what this does is, you know how I think I described those gears that are sliding back and forth on the shift forks. Sometimes the paw pieces on that gear has to line up with the holes, like for instance the first gear one that I showed that has those holes in it. Well, if it's not lined up when you shift, you need something to kind of keep, like after you've shifted it with your foot, you need something to kind of keep pressure on it that way, so that when they do align, it pops in. And I think that's what the purpose of this thing is. I think. So that's neutral. So if I start spinning the clutch, the output shaft is not moving. So if at first, clicked into first, right, now the output shaft is moving, then back in the neutral. Okay. Now second, yeah, now the output shaft is moving. Now third, okay, went right in, so that means the paws were aligned. One of these, it will not go all the way in. Okay, watch it not do that. There, so fifth, it didn't go all the way in, right? But see, this little cam is spring-loaded, and it's pushing on this, it's like a star with like spokes on it, teeth. So the cam wants to push it down that way, so that's keeping tension on it. And then as I move this more, there it goes, it clicked right in. So now it's in fifth. So then I go back down, fourth, that didn't line up. That's okay, because the paw is now pushing on, pushing it in that direction. So there it went in. And now third. Oh, no, I went back to fifth. Third, that's fourth. Down is third, there we go. And now second, okay, went right in, and then neutral. Good, all right, good. So hopefully the damn transmission is fixed. I hope I don't get it started and driving and it has the same damn problem. But what do I want to do now? So what I want to do now is I want to paint the case, since I think if I go like this, maybe if I put these 2x4 pieces on a piece of wood, I can like turn the whole thing like a rotisserie. But all I have to do is cover this and this, and I can get at everything else. So I got to clean up. I did kind of wire wheel already. You can see where the gasket sticks out, so I'll go around with a razor blade and cut off the, hope you can see. I don't know why this doesn't like to focus. No. It's like it's far-sighted or something. Anyway, hopefully you can see that. Where's a good example? I mean, that's a good example, right? You can see that, how it sticks out here. I mean, the bottom, who really cares? Nobody's going to see it. But I'll clean that up a little bit, some more dirt in here. Again, there's a cover over this, and the chain goes in here, and it's going to get constantly dirty. Do I really need to paint in there? Probably not. But the pieces that you can see are here, and on the other side over here. I don't know if this makes any sense to me. Put it back up. Yeah, so when it's in the bike, right, you can see like this area and kind of here, although this is kind of hidden by the front of the frame in here. So since I have it all apart and I've cleaned it up decently, I'll clean it up a little more, and then I'll spray it. And then I have to worry about all this other stuff. Oh, it's the cleaning that gets you. I mean, I could just slap it back together like I did the other one without cleaning it, but I do want to clean the engine and paint it as part of the restoration process. So I've got all the innards. I've got I think I'll blast this cover, because I don't know what got on it, but it's some kind of corrosion. And there's some scrape marks there. Oh, and I can't forget about that. Yeah, so I'm going to get it ready to spray it, and after that, then I'll start putting the top end on. I did order a new cam chain. That showed up. The seat for it, I had bought a seat cover. Actually, the seat that came on this bike, I put on the other one and sold it because that seat cover was not bad. The seat that was on that other bike is the one I kept. I don't know if this is making any sense, but I had bought a new cover, never put it on, and now that I have the Mustang, I've been doing interior work on the Mustang, and there's a guy who does interior like seat coverings and stuff like that, and I brought that seat and another seat to him, motorcycle seat, to have him put the cover on. It's just easier for a person like that to do it. It's worth the, I don't know, whatever it is, 75 or $100 to have them put the seat cover on rather than have me do it. It's kind of aggravating. So I've got the cam chain, and I've got 2 new springs because I had bought a new spring because I knew I was going to tear this thing apart. Couldn't find it, so I ordered another one on eBay. And then when I went looking for the new drive chain I have over there and the sprocket, I found it. So now I have two, and I don't need them. Okay, good enough for now. All right, got the cylinder and the case about as cleaned up as they're gonna get. And I'm gonna paint them. The side cover, I just have it there, so I don't have to mask that magneto part off. The bottom, the clutch area, is all open. This took like 3 hours to clean the cylinder and the tank and the case, and to mask it. It was 8 in the morning. Started at like 5:15. Just like the best part of painting anything, take the masking tape off. Well, hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope people like to watch that engine work. It's probably a little slow and boring, I think. But if you want to get into fixing old motorcycles, that's basically what it is. It's kind of old and it's slow and boring, and it takes forever. To clean things takes forever. It's much nicer to work on something like one of these dirt bikes, where you're not going to paint anything, and you just want to slap it together. Take it, rip it apart, slap it together, new gaskets, and you don't have to paint and polish everything. It makes it a little more fun. But thank you for tuning in, and hopefully there will only be one more episode of the XL600, and hopefully I will have tried to start the Z1R very, very soon. It is, what is it now? It's November like 20th. November 18th. Pretty chilly outside, and motorcycle season is just about, it's over basically, but you can still go if it's a nice sunny day. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and see you later.